Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the beginning of August of 2022, and as we get closer to other Star Wars TV shows out there, like Star Wars Andor, of course, Bad Batch Season 2, we also have Tales of the Jedi coming out. We also have the Mandalorian Season 3 for next year, and the Ahsoka Tano series, which by far are the two biggest, of course, TV shows of 2023 without a doubt. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars is that there are a lot of things happening at the same exact time now between Kathleen Kennedy and Leslye Headland, as well as the Disney executives. Now, as you all have been very well aware, the Acolyte series has been getting a lot of flack from the Disney executives because Kathleen Kennedy has been falling into numerous setbacks, firing co-writers and directors left and right for the 9-part TV show now that used to be 12 parts that were reduced by Bob Chapek. Now, given that Kathleen Kennedy is primarily focused on everything related to Star Wars right now for the Acolyte series and Skeleton Crew strictly, there's been a lot of changes happening behind the scenes that actually involve George Lucas and Jon Favreau that could very well spell a better future for the Acolyte series if done correctly. Now, of course, we already know that Favreau, Lucas, and Filoni are heavily involved with the Mandoverse and its surrounding TV shows like, of course, the Ahsoka series and more. Even the Book of Boba Fett Season 2 recently got reinstated. It was initially taken off of the roadmap and completely erased, and now it's been put back in. So expect a big announcement for that new season by this fall at Disney Plus Day and/or D23. Now, with that being said, with both Disney and Lucasfilm now developing their new Star Wars TV shows and movies for the new Star Wars universe, creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are getting ready to begin announcing their plans at Disney Plus Day and D23. Now, currently, it's described that Disney CEO Bob Chapek recently made some drastic changes behind the scenes for the Star Wars roadmap. It's described that since Kathleen Kennedy had another setback for the Acolyte series recently by changing many of the newer storylines and rewrites that were done by Leslye Headland, it's described that as of now, Disney executives are beginning to step in to course correct certain aspects of the Acolyte show to make it into a better success than it was for the fans. Now, currently, Disney executives have a plan put into place for George Lucas to actually take over some of the episodes that were created by Kathleen Kennedy. Now, it's noted that George Lucas is said to have creative power over the Acolyte show for more than half of the episodes moving forward, along with Jon Favreau to supervise the project and to be in charge of the lore of the new Star Wars TV show. Meanwhile, Kathleen Kennedy is described to only have creative power now only over a handful of episodes, since she had another setback from the series. Now, it's described that Kennedy will only have creative power now for a total of 4 out of the planned 9 episodes of the Acolyte show that used to be 12, and that if Kathleen Kennedy has more issues in the future that causes more revenue to be lost by Disney for the other 4 episodes, they will have George and Jon having creative power over the lore over those episodes as well. Now, let me just stop right here for 1 second before we get on to the next part that's actually very interesting, is that with the Acolyte series, alright, having Lucas and Favreau taking over in a sense by supervising everything, telling Leslye Headland what to do for the 5 episodes that they will be in charge over, they're not really writing the series, nor are they going to be directing the show, but they are going to be telling Leslye Headland kind of like what to do and what not to do with some of the new episodes and its rewrites. So basically, the scripts are all being revised right now for 5 episodes that George and Jon have creative power over. Meanwhile, Kathleen Kennedy still has, everything involved on a creative scale for the other 4 episodes. Now, this is a very interesting development because this could or could not actually make the Acolyte successful. Again, you always want a consistent, good flow within a Star Wars show. Alright, if you have a show where it's kind of mixed in, where there's a lot of good and bad in there, it can feel very choppy and feel like an emotional roller coaster, right? So, what I'm hoping is that Kathleen Kennedy will run into more setbacks to the point where executives are going to step in and say, let George and John supervise the other 4 episodes and tell Leslye Headland exactly what to do and what not to do. This way they can somewhat course correct the show and do the best that they can. The thing about The Acolyte, and I've always said this before, is that it sounds good on paper. You know, it's about emerging dark side powers, and it's going to be a mystery thriller in a sense. And it is going to be very dark and gritty, but exactly how it's going to be executed is all a mystery as of right now. Now, with that being said, alright, moving on forward from all of this, the plan essentially by Lucas and of course, you know, Jon Favreau, is to actually get them involved by approving certain story decisions that are being made by Leslye Headland, and then if there are things that they do not like, that they will be taken out of this new Star Wars TV show. Now, Leslye Headland is described to feel overwhelmed by this new change, and is actually said to be the main reason why Favreau took some time off of The Mandalorian Season 3 for a couple of days to settle out this deal for the Acolyte series. Now, with Lucas and Favreau now acting as supervisors for 5 of the episodes of the Acolyte series, Kathleen Kennedy will only be in charge of 4 that contain some of the stories related to the newer characters. John and George are said to also have creative power over the scenes that involve Darth Revan and Darth Nihilus in the form of flashbacks, and are said to be forcing Leslye Headland to make some hefty revisions to the script for the fans to see true versions of these characters in the Acolyte TV show. Now, once again, I don't know if you guys have been aware about this, but Revan and Nihilus will be in the Acolyte series in the form of flashbacks. And initially, Kathleen Kennedy wanted to actually completely redesign these characters into something totally different that the fans would have never even recognized them. Thankfully, and I really do gotta say thankfully, John and George are stepping in to actually make revisions to those planned redesigns of Revan and Nihilus. So far, so good. You know, I think that the worst comes to worst, you know, scenario is that maybe Kathleen Kennedy doesn't have more setbacks, and John and Dave are only going to be in charge, or should I say John and George, will have only, of course, you know, authority over 5 episodes. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens until this November, which, by the way, is when they are going to begin filming. So on top of all of this, alright, in conclusion, Kathleen Kennedy will only be in charge of 4 that contain some of the stories related to the newer characters. John and George are said to also have creative power over the scenes that involve Revan and Nihilus, as I say, and of course, making revisions to those stories. Now, Disney executives are said to be more confident now about the Acolyte as the script is getting changed drastically, and that they had the ability to do this, of course, due to the damage that Kennedy caused to Disney with so many setbacks and changes to the actual script. So just keep that in mind here, is that Kathleen Kennedy cost Disney tons of money because based on the scripts, they had certain sets being built for filming that was supposed to happen in May that got pushed all the way until November, and those sets had to be destroyed. That's why it cost Disney so much money to essentially just keep going with the flow with Kathleen Kennedy and just hoping for the best with her, and it just did not turn out all that well. It turned out to be a very big nightmare for them. So overall, guys, let me know what you guys have to say about the Acolyte. Are you excited about this? Are you not excited about this? Was this the right call or the wrong call? Let me know what you guys have to say, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.